This conference will now be recorded.
Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Yeah. So, thanks everyone for joining this demo session. I'm Niharika, have 7+ of years experience in automation and development. Today, I'll walk you through the course content. Also, we'll be discussing about what is API testing, what are the different tools we use for API testing, why we are choosing Postman and REST assured and all. So, before that, can everyone quickly introduce themselves? Just a minute. Just want to know your background. Can we start in alphabetical order? Babu, can you start, please?
Yeah, Niharika. My name is Babu Reddy. I'm working as an automation test engineer. I have total experience approximate 5 years, which includes both manual and automation, and a little bit experience in API automation as
Okay.
well. Yeah,
Um,
this is my brief introduction about me.
okay. Thank you. Srinath?
Yeah, I have 6 years of experience in automation testing,
Mm-hmm.
both in API testing and web automation testing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Manju?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
we can hear you.
Okay. I'm Manju. I have 50+ years of IT experience. Currently, I'm working as a test manager, performance test manager. I want to gain knowledge in API for my projects which are coming for performance testing.
Okay. I think there is some background noise. I'm not able to hear you well, but okay. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for joining. So, first, I'll walk you through the course content. Also, we'll be seeing why we do this API testing, and also, so most of you are familiar with automation testing. So, which tools are you using for automation?
Selenium WebDriver we are using, Niharika.
Okay. So, course targeted for two types of audience. First one who already familiar with Selenium and want to learn API automation. Also, from any background who still new to the automation also can take this course. Yes. So, before starting with uh, course content and all, so we should know like what is API testing, why we do API testing, why it is important and all. So API stands for, I think most of you may know already this, API stands for Application Programming Interface. So firstly, we need to understand the difference between API and web service. So before moving forward, it's just like, there are different types of web services. So the difference between API and web services, so web service is anything like it is available through a network connection. We can access any web services through network connection. But if you consider API, it can be available through network connection, also it can be available as a jar file or DLL file. Okay, so to be precise, like all the web services are considered as APIs, but all the APIs are not web services. So maybe your API is just available as a jar file, or else it might be hosted somewhere in the network. So that is how we can differentiate APIs and web services. So where exactly this API come into picture, why we need to do API testing, that we discuss now. So if you consider any application, generally it will have three layers. So before considering this layer structure, firstly what we need to understand is we need to understand the client server architecture. So whenever we are trying to access any website, generally we enter URL, we get the response back. So wherever we are inputting our URL and getting the response, there are two things involved. One is your client, another one is server. So our browser, where we are entering your URL, whoever trying to access some web application, that system can be called as client. So there is somewhere the application is hosted, right? So that server is giving us the response back. So that is called as a client server. So even you hit some application, maybe there are three types of client applications which come under client server architecture. So one tier application, two tier application, and three tier application. So the difference between these three different types of applications are, if you consider one tier application, it will have only every application will have presentation layer and database layer. Okay? So if you consider any application, it will be having, normally it may have two layers, it may have three layers. Shortly I will explain where this API will come into picture. So if you consider this client server architecture, it is like this.
Excuse me,
So
ma'am.
there are, yeah. Yeah, tell
Hi,
me.
ma'am. Sorry for the interruption. Can you hold for 3 to 4 minutes more? Some students are joining.
Okay, sure. Hold. Okay.
And please come from the starting point.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so I'm Niharika. I have 7+ years of experience in automation and development. Currently working as senior automation engineer. So this is about myself. Today I'll be walking you through the course content and discussing about what is API testing, why we need API testing, and what is the content of the course and all. So many of you already introduced yourself. So who else didn't introduce? Can you just brief about yourself? I think Himanshu already done. Paramesh.
Hello. Yeah, madam. Yeah, myself
Yeah.
Paramesh. I am working in 6+ years of experience in automation. The name and API
Okay.
also knowledge. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Saujanya?
Hi, myself Saujanya.
Yeah. Hi.
I have worked on automation couple of years back. I just want to start my career once again. I just want to learn. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Who is next? Sorry, I just can't see your name. Just a minute.
Hi Niharika, this is Ramprasad RP. So I'm from
Oh,
Hyderabad. So I have
okay.
around 7 years of experience in software testing as a senior tester. So I have work experience in automation testing with multiple tools.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Who want to go next? Did we cover everyone?
Yeah, please you can start.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So this course is targeted for two types of audience who already familiar with front-end automation, want to learn about API automation. Also, who are beginners to automation, want to start from scratch and start with API testing. Both can, achieve good content from this course. So before walking you through the course content, just want to brief about what is API testing, why we do API testing. So before that, I'll discuss these things before walking you through the course content. So we already started some time back, but anyways, I'll start from the beginning. So API stands for Application Programming Interface. So why we do this API testing, where this API come into picture, to understand that we just need to understand briefly about client server architecture. So if you consider any application, when we try to access some URL from our browser, maybe we are trying to target any website, just want to access any website, what will happen in the backend is there will be something called client server architecture. So whenever we try to for example, we are on this browser, try to access this application, web application. So whoever trying to access some application from any browser, that person can, I mean, that PC or this browser can act as a client. So when we try to hit this URL, request will be sent to the server. So server is your backend. So every application, when you consider you try to access any application, this is what will happen. So client will send the response and server will give back the, client will send the request. This is your server. Client will send the request, server will send back the response. Okay, so this is what happens whenever we try to access any application. So this will be your request and this will be your response. So generally if you consider any client server architecture, there are three types of architecture are there: 1 tier, 2 tier, and 3 tier. So what will happen in each and every case is, if you consider 1 tier architecture, so there will be only one layer. Like generally, whatever UI we are seeing here, that is called as presentation layer or UI layer. So there will be some database where the data will get stored. If the presentation layer and database layer, both of them are in the same system, then that is called as this 1 tier application. So if you consider 2 tier application, the server, which is your database is hosted somewhere in another PC. We are trying to access it from another PC. That is example of 2 tier architecture. So if you consider 3 tier architecture, there may be chance that in between there may be API. So if you consider what is API, why we do this API testing. So every application nowadays, if you consider any application, mostly there will be three types of layer. So this business layer and database layer, they will come under the server. This presentation layer will come under the client. So this is your UI part. Whatever user interface we are seeing, for example, this website, or if you're trying to do some online shopping in any of the website, whatever UI is you're seeing in the front end is called as a presentation layer. And wherever the data is stored for corresponding application, that is called as a database layer. So in between there is something called business layer. This is where API testing will come into picture. So this business layer will act as a communication between your UI and the backend. So there is no UI for this business layer, so this is in the form of APIs. So this is where we do API testing. So coming back to these terms, API and web service. So after we go through this client server architecture, two things we need to understand: what is API and what is web service. So as I mentioned already, just definition of API. So if you see, all the web services are considered as APIs, but all the APIs are not web service. There is a difference between API and web service. So for example, the difference here is web service is something that is already hosted somewhere through a network. It will be always available over the network only. Web service available over the network. But if you consider this API, this may be available over the network or may be available in the form of jar file or DLL file. Okay, for example, if you consider, I think most of you are already familiar with Selenium. That Selenium WebDriver API you can consider as an example. So generally, we can either download the jar file or we use some build management tool called Maven. In either the case, that WebDriver API is available as a jar file, right? So that is one example, like difference we can understand between API and web services. So all the web services are APIs, but all the APIs are not web service. So this is the difference between API and web service. So since API is available as a local files, when you consider this architecture, when we want to perform automation testing, we can do API automation before the UI is available to the end user. So why we do API testing is it is faster than the front end testing. So since there are three different layers, as we mentioned, there are different tools available to do testing in each and every level. So if you consider presentation layer, to do the front end automation, we use any tool called Selenium we can use. There are also other similar tools available in the market, but Selenium is more popular. In the same way, if we want to perform API testing, we can, there are also again lot of tools available, like Postman is there for manual testing, Rest Assured is for API testing. So this is where this API testing will come into picture. So even for the database, your database may be accessible through anything, like maybe it is based on SQL or MySQL, Oracle, whatever it is. So under this server, these two will be there. Your APIs and database will come under the server. Your client will be your presentation layer. Precisely, this is where, as we don't have any UI for this API, this API will act as a communication between your presentation layer and database layer. So the better example for this is, for example, we are trying to access any online booking, online travel website like Make My Trip or something. So what will happen when we try to search for flights based on 2 locations? It will show results of all the available flights from different airlines, right? So that is where APIs will come into picture. It didn't mean, for example, even if you open this Make My Trip, you can see whenever you search for something like this, you see in the results, nowadays I think data is not available, but you see results are from various airlines. For example, SpiceJet will be there, Indigo will be there, Air India, a lot of other airlines flight details will be available whenever we search for some results from one location to another location. So it didn't mean make my trip has access to all those websites. So whatever search results it is returning for corresponding airline, what they do is the corresponding APIs are available through hosted on this particular server. Only it is able to retrieve flight details. Apart from that, it won't be able to access any other data, right? So we can use this APIs to give partial access to some service which we are providing. So in this case, all these airlines like SpiceJet, Indigo, what they are doing, they are just giving the available flights for this particular Make My Trip. It didn't mean it can access everything from all these airlines, since they have their own websites already. So here the whatever data needed to book flights using that airlines, that will be exposed to Make My Trip using that APIs. So that is where API testing will come into picture. Even maybe you have observed, if you want to log into Facebook, instead of giving registering, you can directly use your Gmail ID, right? So it didn't mean Facebook can access all your emails and all. Only the login functionality is exposed to login using the credentials, right? So that is where your APIs will come into picture. So why we do API testing is because API testing is faster. Since there is no UI layer, we are concentrated on the functionality only. So in that case, since there is no UI, you can do testing faster, as we are concentrating on only functionality. Okay. So as I mentioned here, web services, it's like a communication between 2 different applications. So it didn't mean the applications belong or developed in the same technology. For example, take again this example of Make My Trip and SpiceJet and all. There is no rule that all these applications were developed on same technology. Maybe one is based on Java, one is based on this modern JavaScript technologies like Angular or React. Maybe it is based on any other technology, but they are communicating. So what is the common thing which is available for communication is as a part of API, which is a kind of web service. So there are 2 different types of web services here, as we see here, SOAP and REST. So here this course is based on REST based application. So overall, if you consider types of web services, there are 2 types of web services. So first one is REST. The second one is SOAP. So SOAP is like old technology compared to REST. Here, what will happen is this REST stands for representational state transfer. SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. So these 2 are different types of web services. Nowadays, REST is more popular than SOAP because this here the medium of communication is HTTP for this REST. Okay, so like it supports various formats. For example, it supports text format, it supports XML format, also it supports JSON format. Okay, so here the mode of communication here in for this REST is HTTP. But if coming back to this SOAP, as I mentioned, here we need something called WSDL file. So this WSDL is pronounced as WSDL. This WSDL stands for Web Service Description Language. So here it's just a format which is based on XML. So here the difference between REST and SOAP is SOAP supports only XML format, but REST support all these three formats. For that reason, REST is more popular than SOAP. This is very old technology, but this is somewhat new compared to SOAP, even though it is there from the long time. So here, these are the difference between REST and SOAP. So our course is based on REST-based service automation. So here what we are doing is, if you see the course content, we are using some tools to do this testing. So as I mentioned, there are many tools available in the market to perform this API testing. So what we are targeting here is Postman for manual testing of APIs, and REST Assured is for automation testing of APIs. So there are also other tools available in the market. For example, SOAP UI is there, JMeter is there. They also support to do this API testing. Even though JMeter is used for performance testing as well, we can still do API testing as well using JMeter. SOAP UI also we can use. It supports both SOAP and REST based application testing. But here we are targeting two tools here in this course. One is Postman for manual verification of APIs. Other one is REST Assured. This REST Assured is just a library to just do this API testing. So similar to Selenium API, this REST Assured is also an API. So what are the prerequisites to use this REST Assured is, you need to know Java. Also you need to know TestNG. Maybe some of you may be familiar with this already, but those who are not familiar with this, we still will be covering these things in the course. So here, firstly, what we can do is we can target some APIs and see some, just brief like high level overview of Postman. So this is the Postman tool which I am discussing about. This is only used for the manual testing of APIs. For example, as I mentioned, there are various types of HTTP requests are there. Get request, post request, put request, delete request. Those four are mainly called as CRUD operations. So let me note it down here. So while testing any APIs, we perform some type of operations. These are called as CRUD operations. Here, C stands for create, R stands for retrieve, U stands for update, and D stands for delete. So these requests we can perform on the database. To perform these requests, what we are using this HTTP request. So if you consider corresponding HTTP request for each and every operation which I performed here. Here for this create request, we'll be using this post. And for retrieve, we'll be using get. And for this update, we are using put request. And the last one for delete, we are using this delete request. So these are the corresponding CRUD operations which we can do in the database to retrieve data, and these are the different HTTP requests we can associate with these different types of CRUD operations. So this is what we do in API testing. So another difference between REST and SOAP is if it is a REST API, what we need to start testing is endpoints. So any API you consider, it will have a proper documentation like this. So this is a Stripes API, which is used for this payment-based authentication. So you can, if you refer this API, there are a lot of operations we can do. It's a very good documentation is available for this. So we can create customers, we can delete customers. This can be integrated with your application to perform these, like create customers. This is a payment-based API basically. So here in my Postman, what I'm doing is I'm trying to do these operations to get the data. So as I mentioned, if you see the course content, firstly, like we will be starting with overview of very in-depth, as I mentioned, everything on high level. We see in-depth overview of like what is API, what are web services, the client server architecture, what is base URI, what is REST, SOAP, differences between REST and SOAP. As I mentioned, different CRUD operations and corresponding HTTP methods. These are the basics to understand API testing. So first we need to cover these basics. Once we are clear with these basics, we can start working with Postman. So as I mentioned, a lot of open source APIs are available. This is one example of API. Here, if you go through the documentation, every API will need some type of authorization. Here, this is the authorization. This is basic auth for this particular API. Here, what I'm doing here is I'm just sending a GET request to get the list of customers. So if I send this request, see the response is in the form of JSON here. So this is the Postman tool using which we can do manual testing of APIs. So there is something called Newman in which we can use JavaScript and still do some type of automation, but it's not uh, uh, as it is. We compared to REST API, we can do more when we do using Newman. So generally for manual testing, to just hit some endpoint, perform some type of HTTP request to retrieve data, we can use this Postman. As I mentioned, it's a manual testing tool. So from Postman point of view, we'll be seeing how to do installing Postman, how to create collections in Postman, what are the different types of requests. As I mentioned, get, post, put, update, delete, patch requests are there. These type of requests we can see on any APIs, which are like, we can consider any open source API and do this manual testing using Postman. So once we cover the Postman completely, like there are many other pretty cool things we can do using Postman. For example, we can create new environments, we can create collections, we can set up our environment details, we can even create variables. So those are the things we can achieve using Postman. So whatever we are achieving in Postman manually, that thing we are automating using this REST Assure. Okay, so as I mentioned, this REST Assured API is somewhat similar to I think it is like Selenium WebDriver API only, but the purpose is different. Selenium we are using for front-end automation, but here we are using this for API automation. So here, as I mentioned, we need to have programming language as core Java knowledge is required to start working with REST Assure. Also, a unit testing tool called a framework called TestNG or JUnit are required, but TestNG is more advanced than JUnit. So for that reason, to start working with REST Assure, these are the prerequisites. So if you are already familiar with Selenium, if you are familiar with Selenium Java, maybe you know all these two already, Java, Core Java and TestNG. But if you are still a beginner and want to start with API testing, we cover core Java as well. So these are the different concepts which we cover in core Java. So just introduction, what are the variables, what are the data types, what are the different types of operators, if and switch conditions, for loop, while loop, do while loop, what is array, what is string, or what are the packages and access modifiers. These are the different concepts which we need to learn from core Java to start working with REST assured. Even these will be helpful to, when you switch to Selenium. These are the basic things you need to from core Java point of view. Many important topics from core Java are object-oriented programming concepts, like what is inheritance, what is polymorphism, what is abstraction and encapsulation. So some keywords are there: static, final, this keyword, difference between final, finally, finalize, exception handling, also this collections framework. So these are all the things which will be covered as a part of course in core Java. If you are new to automation completely, we will start from scratch. But if you are already familiar with Selenium, some front-end testing, maybe it will be like refresher for you. Also we'll be covering TestNG, like what is TestNG, how to configure, how to use TestNG along with REST assured. The same way we use with Selenium, here also we can use TestNG along with REST assured. So these two are also will be covering. But coming back to this REST assured, so as I mentioned, firstly those two are prerequisites. Once we cover those core Java and TestNG, we can start working with REST assured once we are done with Postman. So this is a very simple test. Whatever we have done using Postman, we are trying to achieve the same. Here still I didn't use TestNG, still it is written inside Java program only. So when you use TestNG, you don't need this main method. So for any Java program, this main method is the entry point. But here once we move to TestNG, we don't need this main method. So whatever we tried achieved here already using this Postman, that is what we'll be automating. So these are all coming from REST assured. So given basic form parameters, these are all coming from REST assured. So the same thing we can achieve using REST assured here. So we'll be starting from scratch, like configuring everything from Eclipse, and here coming to Maven, it's a build management tool. So whenever we are working with any of these tools in real-time projects, we need a framework. So what exactly framework is? It's a organized way of writing test cases. So if you like, whenever we are learning, initially we don't use any framework, but once you are familiar with these concepts of REST assured, like what are the different types of requests we can perform, what is authentication, what is Maven, how we use Maven, and how to validate our response, what are the different status codes we get. So these are the things we'll be covering under this REST assured. So we'll be seeing some open source APIs with some basic programs which we'll be writing this way to cover all these topics from REST assured. So what is POSO class, serialization, deserialization? These are all the things which will be part of this REST assured. Once we are done with REST assured, we can do the same using this BDD. So there are two things which we need, which we'll be covering here using TDD and BDD. So those who are not familiar with TDD and BDD, so TDD stands for test driven development, BDD stands for behavior driven development. So whatever we are trying to achieve here using REST assured and TestNG, the same thing we can achieve here using BDD. Here under this BDD we are using something called Cucumber. So it's a BDD tool, BDD based on Gherkins. Gherkins is like a simple format to write our test cases. So generally for automation, manual test cases are key to automation, right? So here, whatever are scenarios involved to do the API testing, they will be converted to BDD first using Cucumber. So there are three important parts in any BDD: feature files, step definition files, and test runner. So once we are done with the normal TDD approach, we can learn this BDD because this along we need to learn some concepts of BDD, Cucumber BDD, to start working with this rest assured with Cucumber. So that will be covered, how to add that plugging in Eclipse, how to create feature file, what is feature file, what are the different Gherkin keywords which we use inside this feature file, how to convert your manual scenario to feature file. Those things we'll be discussing. Then the step definition file, we convert this feature file into step definition file. Our code, like whatever rest assured is there, that will be mapped to each and every step which we have in the feature file. So that is like we'll be discussing in brief what is step definition file, how to generate step definition from feature file. Then for this test runner to execute our test cases, we need to some configuration for that. So there we'll be discussing like what is glue, what is monochrome, what are the tags, what are the hooks. These are the things which will come under this Cucumber. So how to create multiple feature files, how to generate step definitions. These are all the things which we'll be discussing as a part of Cucumber BDD. So two types of approaches we are covering here. TDD, test driven development. Here for TDD we are using only TestNG. For BDD we are using Cucumber, along with TestNG we can use. So finally, a framework. Whenever we are working in real time, we don't write test cases this way. Okay, we need a framework. Framework is like organized way of writing test cases. There are some features every framework should have. So whenever you are working with some company, you need to know like what is framework, what are the different types of frameworks available. Those things we'll be discussing. And again, here coming back to this framework, there are two types of approaches we can do. As I mentioned, TDD and BDD. We can create one TDD based and BDD based framework. Here this will be again Cucumber based. This is normally the TestNG one, but here we'll be having, if it is front end, it's somewhat different. We need object repository, but for API we don't need that object repository. But here what we need from framework point of view here is a reporting tool, some reading data from properties file. So those kind of things which we need from framework point of view. So that we'll be discussing, how to read data from Excel file, how to use TestNG data provider to read data from Excel, how do we do parameterization using hash table. This is again coming from Java collections framework. So once you are familiar with collections part, you will be able to understand this concept clearly. Then reporting part is very important. These are the some ideal things which any framework should have. So like reading data from external file, like properties file or Excel file, how do we do parameterization? So how to generate some HTML reports. This extend report is a external tool to generate HTML reports. So when we work in real time, these are all the important things which we need to cover. So how to integrate our framework with Jenkins, where this GitHub come into picture, since it's a version control, how we can integrate our framework with Jenkins using GitHub. These are all the things which we will be covering as a final part. So overall, this is the course content for this particular course. So as I mentioned, if you are beginner to this automation, we will be covering core Java and TestNG. So we'll be starting from scratch. If you are already familiar with automation like Selenium or something, it will be just like a refresher for you. So overall, these are the things which will be covering in the course. Here, what you are seeing, this is not a framework. It's a simple basic test. Right now, I don't have the framework available in this PC just to show you. So for that reason, I just opened this simple test. But we'll be starting from scratch and discussing all these things from in detail. This is just a high-level overview of what will be part of the course and why do we do API testing and all. So if you have any questions, you can go on. Anyone? Anyone? Any questions?
Yes, Niharika. Are we discussing here about the manual testing also? Manual API testing?
Yeah, I'm covering Postman, right? So here I'll cover Postman from manual API part. Like how to create collections, how to configure environment variables, how to create variables, how to perform these requests. That I'll cover.
Yeah, hi Niharika, this is Ram.
Hi. Yeah, tell
Niharika,
me.
for web services, sometimes they will take say for load testing. What we do load test, what we get from doing load test for web services?
We are not covering load testing. We are doing only API testing from functionality point of view.
Like manual testing.
Sorry?
Like manual testing, right? For post.
Yeah, for manual it is Postman. For automation it's REST assured, but we are not covering load testing. We are concentrating on only functional testing only.
Okay, that's fine. But just I'm asking in general, by doing load test of web services, do we get whatever the kind of load test we do for our web application, those statistics all we all get for we can do those kind of testing for web services also?
Yeah, we can do load testing also, but I'm not into load testing. So yeah, still we can do load testing, but we are not covering that here.
Okay, okay, thank you, Niharika. What is the course duration for this?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay, okay, thank you, Niharika.
So
Yeah,
Niharika,
Niharika.
so here we are
Yeah,
discussing about the Cucumber framework, right?
yeah, Cucumber. Both approaches we are discussing TDD and BDD.
Yes, Niharika.
Niharika, you will be explaining like
Yeah,
yeah,
Saujanya. Go.
yeah, you will be explaining like writing the global utilities in the point of creating the framework, right? Like
Yeah.
not just like a basic concepts like providing what are the at the rate of before annotations like that. Not right. Creating the
No, no,
framework,
no.
what are the global utilities we will be getting, writing in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
concept
We'll be
wise,
like,
right?
yeah. We'll be seeing how to read data from properties file, how to achieve the same using Excel, reading data from Excel using TestNG data provider. Also, we can do the parameterization from JSON as well. Even we use hash table. These are the different ways we can do parameterization. We'll be covering all of them. In the framework concept, we'll be covering all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, someone was saying when Saujanya
Yes,
said.
yes, Niharika. Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming to real-time work, so is it mandatory to learn Postman before learn this API? I mean, Postman REST assured?
Yeah, because before performing API automation, we need to just check those endpoints and verify the functionality, right? So for that reason, whatever we are trying to automate, first we'll check that through Postman. We see the status code, are we getting proper response and all, then we'll be automating the same using REST assured. So yeah, it's kind of
Like, yeah. Like you
yeah,
mean to
it's
say without this Postman, we can't do this REST assured, right?
no, it's not like that. We can do, but see, I'll give you an example. Before doing automation, you have to execute the test case manually, right? So
Yeah.
whether the test case is working or not, is there any works like that? In front end, I'm saying. The same way here, what we are doing before automating any scenario, any functional scenario related to API, we are just verifying in the Postman just to cross check whether we are getting the same response as per the requirement. Then once everything is fine here, we'll be automating the same.
Okay. That
The
means
same way
without this Postman also, we can do this REST assured, right?
we can do, but it is
Little bit.
generally
Yeah.
the
I got your point. Yeah, I got
yeah,
your point.
we can
But
do.
here
It's not
also,
like that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. because sometimes Swagger documentation they'll give you there also you can perform the request. We don't need Postman in that case. It's not mandatory, but generally good to have knowledge.
Yeah, fine. That's all.
Yeah, thanks. Anyone else?
Yeah, that's all, Niharika. Everything is good. Thanks for your
Okay.
time.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, thank you everyone. Yeah, I'll share that presentation. Please share your email IDs in the WhatsApp group. I'll share this presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. If no one has questions, we can like conclude our session. So thanks for joining everyone.
Niharika Srinath here. You can just share me this course content slides so that I can show to my TL. I need to get the approval for this course.
Okay, sure. Please share your email ID in the WhatsApp group. I'll share this.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Thank you.
So basically, Niharika, I have one
Thank
more.
you, everyone. Yeah, please go on. Yeah.
So I don't want these basic details. I just want to know the framework level. So, so what is those? What kind of? What is the duration of that? Only I just want to know the framework level.
Only framework, then two types of frameworks we can discuss, TDD based and one with Cucumber BDD. So maybe 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks we can say if it is only framework.
Okay. Okay, then we'll discuss separately.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Yeah, bye.